Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the February 18th, 2026 meeting of the Daytona Beach City Commission. We're happy and delighted to have each of you with us tonight. Madam Clerk, may we please have a roll call?
Commissioner Strickland?
Here.
Commissioner May?
Here.
Commissioner Cantu?
Here.
Commissioner Henry?
Present.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Paris?
Here.
Mayor Derek L. Henry?
Here.
I move to allow Commissioner May to participate in this meeting remotely.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Reed, second from Commissioner Paris. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. We will now have the invocation led by yours truly, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Strickland. Gracious God, our Father and Creator, we thank you for this day that you have established. We pray over our city. We pray over every individual in attendance tonight. We pray over every department, every person who works for the city, every resident, every visitor. We pray for our first responders. We pray for this commission as we deliberate and make decisions that we hope and pray will result in good actions and good activities for the residents of Daytona Beach. Now we pray, most importantly tonight, for a unified spirit, a disposition that puts the city first, brings us all on one accord in harmony towards a better, greater, stronger community. These and all blessings we do pray in the matchless and majestic name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move on to item number 4, which is approval of the minutes of the January 21st, 2026 City Commission meeting. Folks, can we settle?
Can we bring ourselves to, this is a business meeting. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're going to move on to the approval of the minutes of the January 21st, 2026 City Commission meeting.
So moved. Second.
Second.
No, we have a motion and a second, and we have a third in Cyberland. That's, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign.
Opposed.
Who is that?
State of Florida.
State of Florida.
Point of order exists here, sir. Just on the record.
No, we don't need anything on the record. We're going to have to ask you to not speak at all unless you have the podium.
Yes, sir, I'll wait.
Okay.
Agenda change.
All right. At this time, if we have any changes to our agenda, our city manager will address them.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, we're adding Addendum 8N to the consent agenda. City Attorney's Office supporting Volusia Forever. Resolution expressing the Daytona Beach City Commission's support for the continued operation of the Volusia Forever program for the purpose of preserving conservation lands. That concludes the additions for the agenda.
I move that we accept the agenda with the said change.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we'll now move on to item number 6, which is our presentations. Presentation 6A is Jessica Fentress from Volusia County Coastal Division Director on the long-term beach management plan.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Henry and City Commission. My name is Jessica Fentress. I am your Coastal Director for Volusia County. And thank you for the invitation, sir, to allow me to come and give you a little bit update on our hurricane recovery efforts and trying to set our vision for our beach for the next couple of generations. So everybody knows that we had a really horrible 2022 hurricane season. We lost over 6 million cubic yards of beach compatible sand on our beaches. Your property owners, your businesses, your residences, they not only lose their beach access, but you had structural seawall collapse, you lost pool decks, you had closed businesses and houses due to the damages that we sustained. Following the 22 hurricanes, we were very gracious to receive an $82 million grant from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for our hurricane recovery efforts. Part of that grant, we did a North Beach sand placement project from Sunglow Pier down to the North Jetty in partnership with the United States Army Corps of Engineers. As part of that, we are finishing our planting for that berm this week. I'm really excited about that. We also are currently offloading sand in New Smyrna Beach using the Florida Inland Navigation District's dredge material management area. That is MSA 434. We are building a berm and we will be planting before turtle season on May 1st. We are also working on the Inlet Shoals to Shores project. I'll talk about that shortly, as well as an offshore sand search. Part of the requirements of this $82 million grant that we received was that we, as a county, adopt a beach management plan. Back in 2004, we suffered the 4 hurricanes that were devastating to our beach, and the leadership at that time made the decision to go with the no action option. I'm praying that we do not do a no action option this year. I'm going to go into a feasibility study where we go countywide and look at our risk assessment so that we know which community along our 47 miles of coastline is at the most highest risk to help us identify who gets first priority on that funding. We're also going to alternatives for shoreline protection. There's a bunch of things out there. And I'm out here today, this is what I'm doing, community engagement. I want to come out, I want to talk to my 5 cities. I am open to speak to any of our mainland cities as well. I will be at the elected roundtable in May to go over a detailed analysis of the economic impacts of our beaches on Volusia County, which I think will hit very closely to Daytona Beach. I'm also going to touch today on the economic impact analysis that we performed. It's going to get very technical. I'm going to breeze over a lot of the technicality. I have 2 YouTube videos, and the websites are all referenced in the presentation, so that if this is something that's really interesting to you, or maybe you want to be an engineer in your retirement, feel free to nerd out to 3 hours of calculations on YouTube. It also works really well if you can't sleep. So, the Inlet Shoals to Shore project. This is a project we are currently permitting right now through the FDEP as well as the Army Corps of Engineers. We have approximately 1.75 million cubic yards of beach quality sand that we believe exists in the red shaded areas immediately inland of our inlet. This is outside of the area that was just dredged by the Army Corps of Engineers. Just for a little bit of perspective, the project we did from Sunglow Pier down to the North Jetty was approximately 400,000 cubic yards. The project we're doing in New Smyrna Beach is approximately 550,000 cubic yards. We found 1.75 million cubic yards of sand in these shoals. If you're aware of Ponce Inlet, there's a hole in the North Jetty right now. Guess where all that sand came from? It came from your beaches. At the beginning, I said we lost over 6 million cubic yards of beach quality sand on our beaches. It travels down the beach. If you remember Wilbur by the Sea, we had a bunch of doll houses. We didn't suffer from that in Daytona Beach, but we do have structural impacts. The sand went through Wilbur, went through Ponce, went over the jetty, went in our inlet. We just had it dredged by the United States Army Corps of Engineers in the navigation channel. There's still 1.75 million cubic yards of beach quality sand sitting in our inlet that came from your north beaches. So we're going to go after that. It's going to go from Sunglow Pier up to Granada. That will give everybody 18 cubic yards of beach quality sand, and then we'll have enough sand left over to do a full project somewhere north of the inlet. That sand will hit the beach in early 2027. We're also looking for offshore sand sources. One of the biggest calls I got from your residents who live beachside, all up and down the county, was why are we not pumping the sand off of the ocean and putting it directly on our beach? Well, that no action decision that was made back in 2004 really kind of hurt us because I didn't have the permits in place. I didn't have the investigations in place. I didn't know if the beach quality sand was out there. You don't want something that's really shelly. You can't get near a historical wreck. If there's some special slug out there, you can't hit that either. So we need to go out and do the investigations. We've done the soil collection. So below water, when you hit the ground of the seafloor bed, we've already gone 30 feet below that, and we've taken soil cores. We believe there are valid and easy options available, shaded in the light pink. All this is on the internet if I'm glossing over and going way too fast. We're in the desktop study, we're working on permitting, and this will take probably about 2 to 3 years to permit. That little pink dotted line you see running shore parallel, that is the 3-mile marker where State Waters is. Anything east of that pink line is in Fed Waters, and I have to go to the Bureau of Energy Management at the federal level, which is just, it's a time suck. So we're gonna try and aim for everything inside the 3-mile marker. Risk assessment. This is my first website I'm putting up here. I know there are people behind me that may not have the benefit of having the presentation in front of them. Please feel free to take pictures. If this interests you tonight, go dig into it. We've got a ton of information there. If you're a data nerd, we've got the data, it's available. Please dig in and fact check me. This location that you see is the condo timeshare just north of the Schnebley Center in Daytona Beach. They had a seawall failure. Their pool fell in the ocean, and this is them actively rebuilding their seawall. It's a great aerial action shot of our recovery. So, we have $82 million. Who gets the money first, right? You've got 47 miles of beaches, and let's just be very frank and honest, $82 million cannot fix 47 miles of beach. It just can't. So we have to figure out where the worst of the worst is. Just like a road, you fix the road with the biggest potholes before you fix the road that you just built. So we did a data analysis on a parcel by parcel level using this grant funding that we got from the FDEP. We looked at a couple of factors. One was shoreline encroachment. That is the horizontal distance between the mean high water line and your structure. Your structure is your house, your condo, your pool, your seawall, anything that is not sand or a dune. Then we looked at the infrastructure exposure. What that is it's your Y elevation. How high above the water line is your structure? Do you only have 6 inches between the mean high water and the base floor of your building? Or do you have 15 feet and you're fine? So we looked at that. Historical erosion rate, we survey our beaches annually. We have all of our prior surveys on the website that you can pull and look at it. What that does is it tells you a long-term erosion trend. Are you losing sand or are you gaining sand? And at what rate? We have some areas of our beach that are losing up to 8 feet of sand a year. That's 8 horizontal feet that they lose of active recreational beach a year. We have one place in the entire county that is gaining sand. That is North New Smyrna Inlet. It's where the rocks are. It's where we all go surfing in New Smyrna. That is gaining sand. And then we look at other factors, basically running some storm probability analysis. It's modeling and calculations. If you want to learn more about it, please go online and listen to the 3-hour thrilling broadcast that we did. And here's my fun chart. I've got 2, I promise. I'll go really quickly on this. We broke up the communities by, on the far left column, you see the community broken out. Those R markers are very similar to mile markers on 95. They start at 0 at the Flagler line, and they end at T208 at the Canaveral Seashore border, the border with Brevard inside of Canaveral Seashore. So we broke up North Peninsula State Park. Ormond by the Sea is a completely different dynamic than Ormond Beach. Ormond Beach is completely different dynamic than Daytona Beach. Daytona Beach's sand and Daytona Beach Shore's sand is extremely similar. It's all that beautiful white hard-packed sand that you can drive a 1992 Nissan Sentra on. And then you have Wilbur by the Sea. Wilbur by the Sea is a different use. You have more of a single-family home use upland, so it's a little bit different category than your high-density Daytona and Daytona Beach Shores communities. Then you have Ponce Inlet, followed by New Smyrna Beach North and New Smyrna Beach South. Remember I told you one place was gaining sand? New Smyrna North. So I separated it from New Smyrna South. And then you have Silver Sands to Bethune Beach and unincorporated New Smyrna. So what we looked at are the parameters we talked about: shoreline encroachment, infrastructure exposure, armament exposure is your seawalls, and then your historic shoreline rates, and then the analysis. We rated each one by low, medium, or high. We added a point value to it. That's what the 1, 2, and 3 is. The very bottom line, you see it's weighted out. So what that does is it calculates a risk score, second column from the right. Mayor, I'm sorry, you ranked number 1. That's not good. That means you're the highest risk city along with Daytona Beach Shores and Wilbur by the Sea. So you are at the highest risk countywide, but what that also means is you're going to be pretty high on the priority list because you're number 1 for sand projects if that's the action that we go with. So now we know who the worst is so that we can prioritize our focus when we get to our solutions. Again, the website is up there for anybody that wants to dig into this a little bit more. There's a couple of options nationwide that work. I'm going to go ahead and itemize them out for you. One is the no action we already talked about. The second is structural relocation. Basically, it's also managed retreat. The reality is in Daytona, managed retreat is not an option for you because you're never going to relocate condos or hotels to the west side of A1A. Floodproofing and structural elevation is elevating the buildings so that the ocean goes under them. It's also not really an option in Daytona Beach. You know what seawalls are. You already have seawalls. Some of them meet today's design standards. Some of them do not. They were constructed in 1930 when we were under different climate conditions and design standards. And then you have revetments. Revetments is basically a coquina rock wall It would go in the same location as a seawall, but it is not a straight vertical option. It does have a little bit of texture to it to break the wave energy, but it still provides upland protection. Beach nourishment is adding sand to the beach to expand the recreational width of your dry sand. So building your beach out. A football field of dry sand that never goes underwater in front of your boardwalk. That's what you think of when you see Clearwater, when you see St. Pete Beach, when you see Hutchinson Island, when you go up to St. Augustine. Groins are mini jetties, shore perpendicular, up and down the beach. What they do is they trap sand. Then you have near shore sand placement, where you put sand in anywhere from 3 feet of water to 30 feet of water. And then the thought is, just like the sandbars move, come and go, that sand that you put in the near shore will eventually make its way onto the beach and then into your dune system. Breakwaters are very similar to groins. They're shore parallel, so they run in the same direction as your coastline. Rocks, rubble mounds. They're very much like icebergs, where you see a little bit sticking out, but there is a whole mountain of big rocks underneath of it. They have to be jetty-sized rocks, so we're not talking about basketballs, we're talking about Volkswagens. Nearshore artificial reefs, same concept, but instead of using granite, you use a material that is more accommodating to natural wildlife accumulation and thriving. This is all really interesting stuff. I promise I have a cartoon version online if anybody's interested that goes into pros and cons of all 10. Another fun chart. So you do have your options on the left side. We had a couple parameters that we need to measure it against to do a data analysis to figure out which one is truly the best in a non-biased scenario. So the top column, or the top row on the top, is your goals and objectives. One goal of our solution is to reduce our coastal storm damage to structures, critical infrastructure, and cultural resources. Beach driving. We got to eliminate our impacts to that, as well as our houses and our coastal infrastructure. The second is reduce risk of natural resource loss, followed by reduce your risk to life safety, following avoiding impact to recreation, minimizing impacts to threatened or endangered species and their habitats, and finally, it needs to be able to be permitted. We ranked everything with fully meets objectives in green with a 2-point weight, followed by a partially meets objective in yellow with a 1-point weight, and a 0-point weight for does not meet objectives. And that ranked out to the right, you can see the top contenders are going to be beach nourishment, structural relocation, and nearshore sand placement. I'm not going to go into this in detail because we kind of already have. What I will say that stands out significantly is that the Florida State Department of Environmental Protection is the regulatory authority over your beach. It's not me, it is the state. They have a grant program that is set in state statute, specifically in Chapter 161. The state statute in Chapter 161 will only provide grants for sand options. That's beach nourishment, and that is nearshore sand placement. Anything else is 100% on the cost of the local sponsor, which would be the county. Structural relocation does have grant options, but that's not really an option for Daytona Beach. And then nearshore sand placement, again, is eligible for state funding. So why does all this matter? We know in this room that Daytona Beach is the heart of Volusia County, right? It brings the jobs, it brings the life, it's thriving. This is where you want to go. We just had BERT, we just had NASCAR, we're getting Bike Week, we've got Jeep Beach. But the entire county doesn't know that. And that's not necessarily backed up by data. So what I did is I need to make sure that our beaches are important countywide. I want you to go to the volusia.org/coastal study, the entire 32-page document, which is really easy to read. Hopefully, Mr. Strickland, you read yours that I gave you. It also has 2 case studies. The 2 case studies, one of them is Miami Beach from 1977. The other one is PCB. So, why do people vacation in Volusia County? You guys all know this. It's the beach. That's why people come here. Beaches beat out conventions, speedways, and special events. And this is all documented with sources, so it can be fact-checked. So regardless of why they vacation in Volusia County, 95 to 98% of visitors go to the beach. This is all of the county, not just Daytona Beach. This is the entire county. 95 to 98% of the visitors go to your beach. Here's the big one. 61 million day trips a year are made to Volusia's 47 miles of beach. That's huge. 61 million day trips. I will admit my husband probably goes to the beach 365 days a year, possibly twice a day, so he did contribute significantly to that 61 million. But that's more than twice as many day trips to Volusia County beaches as to all of Florida's 175 state parks, trails, and historical sites. That is huge. Volusia residents go to the beach 19 more times than they go to our county parks. Here's the one that I want to hit home with you guys. This is the summary of the entire 32-page economic document that's fully cited for you, where I want you to take snapshots, and I want you to include these in your 30-second elevator pitches to your friends and neighbors. The impact of beach tourism countywide contributes $4.3 billion annually to the county's GDP. That's 17% of the total, just related to beach tourism. 31% of Volusia County's annual sales tax revenue. That equates out to $28,000 of annual sales tax revenue per homesteaded property in Volusia County. That's why it matters countywide. You have 2 times the attendance of all state parks, 61 million day trips. I want you to look at the bottom right-hand corner. This speaks volumes. Volusia County's employment is dominated by beach tourism, 31,400 jobs. Just the trickle-down effects in our county due to beach tourism. That's restaurant owners, that's t-shirt owners, t-shirt shop owners. Sorry, guys. It's the waitresses. It's the clerks in the store. It's the lady at Publix who's bagging your stuff for you. It's the people renting chairs out on the beach. It's everybody who gives an interest on tourism in this county. Remember, 95 to 98% of all tourists go to your beach. So that's the economic impact. That's why the beach matters. That's why the beach matters countywide. We are currently in our feasibility assessment. We are in the public outreach portion of it. Looking forward, I am doing a couple of other cities coming up through the end of April. I am going to be at the elected roundtable in May 11th, I believe, with Dr. Houston, who did the economic impact report, and he's going to go in depth on his finding along with the case studies. That is one to go to. I am planning to take this to the Volusia County Council about June-ish this summer. And if it is the commission's direction and pleasure, we could provide you with a draft resolution of support for a beach management plan and moving forward with Daytona Beach. And I'm available if you have questions. I will also hang out in the back. Should any of the public want to speak to me privately, I'll give it about 5 minutes before I head out. Thank you, sir.
Could you restate your last comment about a resolution?
If the city wishes to formalize their support for a beach management plan, I have a draft resolution I could provide for your consideration if that's something that the commission would like to do.
Okay, I think so. But am I in concurrence?
I'm in agreement, Mayor.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we understood that. I didn't want to. I think with all that you've illustrated, that it, especially when you look at the financial benefits of the beach, and that is not to overstate those of us who are from here, we try not to take it for granted. And when I call it our greatest resource, I mean, you just illustrated why it's our greatest resource. It's our greatest natural resource in terms of its aesthetic beauty, but it's also our greatest financial resource. And I think it also illustrates why it's important for us to keep on the task that you've been pushing. And I think many of our residents have been pushing, which is to continue to try and plug in more support towards our beachside community, whether it be cleanliness, beautification, law enforcement, whatever it takes to make it a stronger and better community. So thank you. Do we have any questions for her?
I just have a comment, Mayor. I want to thank Jessica for coming. I met her a couple of years ago after one of the hurricanes, and a lot of our beach approaches were closed down. She took the time to meet with me because a lot of our beachside residents weren't able to go for their morning walks on the beach approaches. So she explained to me the whole process because there's a lot of permitting involved. It's not something as you could just put a staircase back up. There was structural integrity issues with seawalls, and that was included. There was an ocean dunes walk that was privately owned. So she also helped with that along with legal to get things moving so we could get these beach approaches open. They're still working on it, but soon to come. So I just want to thank her for coming and also pointing out it's not just our beachside neighborhoods. It really is the economic engine for our community, our whole county. I mean, what is it, $4.3 billion to our annual GDP, and 95 to 98% of tourists go to the beach, which is so important. And 61 million day trips a year. That's astounding. It's just so many people go there. And with our CRA departments, if everyone hasn't answered the survey yet, if you can answer the survey so that we could finish, I guess, get a date on the calendar also for our workshop, how we're going to put projects. And if you have any suggestions, maybe if you could let the city manager know also how we could work together with our CRA departments and what you guys are doing so we could have like a cohesive plan going forward. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
No further questions or comments. Excuse me, we don't have any public comment during this time. She will be outside if you have questions for her. If you have commentary about this, you can save it for the end of the meeting. But she will be outside for anyone who wants to raise questions or enter into dialogue with her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next presentation is the presentation of the Quilts of Valor. Huh?
Oh, that's great.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jim Sexton. I'm the Human Resources Director here at the City of Daytona Beach. And tonight, we're going to be giving out a couple of Quilts of Valors. And about 3 years ago, I think Commissioner Cantu started a process where we're going to try to award all the veterans that served their country in the armed services that are also serving their community here, working for the City of Daytona Beach. So tonight we're continuing that. We've given out about 65 quilts so far, and we're giving out 2 more tonight if Jose Martinez showed up. Good. Yep. So with that, Tammy's going to come up and introduce herself. She is the group leader of Tangled Threads. Tammy, come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing Quilts of Valor to attend your City Commission meeting and the opportunity to honor our veterans with comforting and healing Quilts of Valor. At this time, I would like to invite Ginny Tullio from Tangled Threads Quilts of Valor to read the Quilt of Valor poem by Mary Welch.
A few pieces of cloth from people who care. To honor your service, it only seems fair. Carefully chosen materials of red, white, and blue, sewn together for those patriotic and true. A top pieced together with caring and pride, then quilted with backing and a warm layer inside. Each stitch and seam sewn from the very start with appreciation and gratitude straight from the heart. For you who have sacrificed for those here at home, may this quilt warm and comfort you wherever you roam. Our hope with this quilt is to make sure you knew we appreciate all you've done and all you've been through.
Thank you, Jenny. My name is Master Sergeant Tammy Arnold, U.S. Air Force retired, and I am the Florida State Coordinator for the Quilts of Valor Foundation and Group Leader for Tangled Threads. What is valor? The definition of valor is great courage, gallant bravery, and strength in the face of danger. It's a trait fit for a hero. As we all know, freedom is not free. A veteran is someone who wrote a blank check payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including their life. They are our heroes. What is a quilt of valor? A quilt of valor is a quality handmade quilt, either machine or hand quilted. It's awarded to a service member or veteran. The quilt says unequivocally, "Thank you for your service and sacrifice in serving our nation." The quilts must be a specific size, have a label with required information, be awarded as it's not a gift, and most importantly, it must be recorded with the Quilts of Valor Foundation. The foundation began in 2003 with a dream. Our founder, Catherine Roberts, was worried about her son, Nat, being deployed to Iraq post 9/11. In her words, "I saw a young man sitting on the side of his bunk in the middle of the night, hunched over. I could see his war demons clustered around, dragging him down into an emotional gutter. Then, as if viewing a movie, I saw him in the next scene wrapped in a quilt. His whole demeanor had changed from one of despair to one of hope and well-being. The quilt had made a dramatic change. The message of that dream was quilts equal healing. Mrs. Roberts acted on that dream and presented her first quilt at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in November of 2003. Today, the Quilts of Valor Foundation continues the dedication of covering all veterans and service members with a quilt of comfort and healing. Since the foundation started keeping records in 2010, we have presented over 437,630 quilts. We want you to know a Quilt of Valor has 3 parts. The top is stitched and pieced, sewn together and bound to remind you of the many diverse people and unique individuals with whom you served, your brothers and sisters in arms. The center of the sandwich, the batting, is our hope this quilt will bring warmth, comfort, peace, and healing to the individual who receives it. The backing is the strength supporting the other layers. It represents the strength of the recipient, the strength of their unit, the strength of family, and the strength that comes from grateful strangers. A piece of our hearts were sewn into each quilt, and each stitch holding the pieces and layers together represents the love, gratitude, and tears of the maker. A Quilt of Valor also has a 3-part message. First, we honor you for your service. Second, we know freedom is not free, and this quilt says thank you for your sacrifice. Third, these quilts are meant to offer comfort. We consider it a privilege to honor you, as we'll never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend our country. Quilters say every quilt tells a story. The story of these quilts began by our founder, who shares your love of country, and is followed by the women and men of all of our Quilts of Valor groups. Included with your quilt is a certificate from the Quilts of Valor Foundation, a pillowcase for your quilt, as well as washing instructions. Also on each quilt is a custom label designed especially for you and your service to our great nation. As of today, these quilts become yours. You can do as you wish with your quilt, but we hope and pray you'll use them and keep them with you as a tangible reminder of no matter where you are or how you served, you have never been forgotten. As I call your name, please step forward. Specialist John Howland. Specialist John Howland served in the United States Army from 1998 to 2006 in the Military Occupational Specialty, or MOS 67 Romeo Attack Helicopter Repairer. The helicopter repairer is responsible for maintaining and repairing Apache helicopters. These highly trained soldiers diagnose malfunctions, remove and install engines and rotors, and perform inspections to ensure aircraft are ready to fly. They are crucial for technical inspections using specialized tools while maintaining safety standards for the AH-64 fleet. He started his Army career with basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and AIT at Fort Eustis, Virginia. His first duty assignment was at Craig Field, Jacksonville, Florida, until his release. Specialist Howard has been awarded the National Defense Service Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, as well as many other distinguished awards and decorations. Thank you, Specialist Howland, and welcome home.
Yeah, well, and you can get a picture, and we'll get both of them. Okay. The front and back, right?
Petty Officer Third Class Jose Martinez.
Chose the wrong chair
Petty Officer Third Class Jose J. Martinez served in the United States Navy in the rate of Rate Damage Controlmen, or DC. The Navy Damage Controlmen are the primary onboard first responders. While all sailors are trained in the basics of damage control and first aid, the damage controlmen are the first responders who are critical to preventing accidents. These highly trained sailors are responsible for firefighting, flood control, and repairing damage to ships. They manage chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear defense, or CBRNE equipment, maintain fire suppression systems, and instruct crews in emergency procedures, and are masters of it all. Petty Officer Martinez has been awarded the National Defense Service Medal, Navy Good Conduct Medal, as well as many other distinguished awards and decorations. Thank you, Petty Officer Third Class Martinez, and welcome home. This concludes our Quilts of Valor Award ceremony. Thank you again for allowing us to be here today to honor these veterans with comforting and healing Quilts of Valor.
Just while they're getting that picture, I just wanted to say John Howland has been with the city since '02, and he's a lift station mechanic. He works in utilities. And Jose Martinez is a chemical program applicator. He works at Public Works, and he's just been here a couple of years, since '23. So congratulations to you all, and thank you for your service.
So what I normally do is I call them about face. Yeah. We know.
We're just gonna forward you better. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, of course. Yes. They're all veterans. I got veterans. Come on out. The veterans that are with me are with the PSW 1590 of Daytona.
There's what they call true valor. Small valor is not safe. If y'all want to know how to do this, call. Point of order, in written, I know they will. Point of order, you don't know.
Larry, move it a little bit. There. How's that?
Get them all in there.
Oh, yeah, everyone's just it's beer time. Let's do it.
Be John Nicholson too. I'm him every week. Marjorie. Oh, shit. I think she's retired.
Okay. We're going to move on to item number 7, which is our citizen comments. During this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the City Commission on any item on the consent agenda. Our first speaker is William Biddorf. Okay, he might be out in the lobby. Our first speaker is Randall Phillips, and on deck is John Nicholson. We'll come back to Mr. Biddorf.
Gentlemen of the Commission, my name is Randall Phillips. I reside at 1505 Crescent Ridge Road. I think I was here about 2-3 weeks ago about the condemnation of 612 and 614. We filed an injunction on the demolition of what's going on right now, and I just saw it just came up on the agenda, I guess, Friday. Our meeting is next week with the judge, so I don't understand why this is back on the agenda for the demolition on the property. So I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. So it's 8C, I believe, is what it is. Our first meeting with the judge is coming up, I believe, next week, which has been legally filed. So I don't know anything to be said, or personally, I don't think it should be on the agenda, is what I'm trying to say.
Do you want to answer that, or is there legal?
It's no legal impact to the decisions that you make. Whatever, if the judge puts a hold on it, then we'll deal with that. But there's no specific legal impact to a decision we'll make today. I do have one of our assistant city attorneys who've been handling this in litigation, which is attorney David Russell, and I don't know if he has anything he'd like to say.
Good evening, David Russell, Assistant City Attorney. We are set on a motion to dismiss next week in front of the judge. My understanding is that staff wanted to have this in place with the expectation that that will ultimately be granted, but obviously they wouldn't take any action if the court denies that motion and the case proceeds. But at this point, that's the reason it's on the agenda tonight. And obviously, we're going to see the court process play out before any actual action's taken. So.
Okay. All right.
I still think it should be on the agenda because half the reason why I'm going against having the injunction against the demolition is half of me still wants to keep the building and have an investor. The other half obviously still wants to maybe demo if it's just going to cost too much money. So that's half the reason why I have an investor right now that's willing to come in and spend the money, but not while the interested city have any interest in demoing it and moving forward. So that's one of the main factors is when I'm trying to get it so that I don't want any type of demolition order on it. I don't want to have somebody come in. I still have property in there right now too. So that's my main concern is I don't want a demolition company showing up in the next 2 weeks thinking they could demo it without me getting my stuff out. And that's all. I was given a week back in December, but there was some complications with a gentleman that was just here. He was pretty much telling everybody that he owned the place and swinging lead bar at me and my dad trying to get our contents out, so we couldn't get into the property. That was the gentleman you were talking to earlier.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Phillips.
Our next speaker is William Biddorf, and on deck is John Nicholson.
Hello, my name is William Bidorf. I live at 402 East International Speedway Boulevard. I'm really for anything that, sorry, I got to get used to putting this thing up. I'm into anything that helps work with our city, helps work with the taxpayers of our city. So Randy's been a pretty good neighbor. I feel for him. The one thing that I wanted to say it's on my mind to all of you is we need to focus on one thing tonight, and that's that we have more in common than divides us. And that the tensions rise, it's easy to point fingers, raise voices, and assign blame.
Which issue are you speaking to?
Same thing.
Which issue?
This is going to be the issue of just when people come to us and they ask, why haven't we redeveloped our what's that?
Which item on the consent?
8C, sir. 8C. I apologize, sir. About the demolition, sir.
Okay, gotcha.
I realize how hard to fight it is because he, actually, Randy was telling truth about the crazy guy with the stick and stuff because I had to deal with him on my property. Actually, I've had to deal with him now. He was even threatening me outside. So, same guy that wonderfully spoke up. So, yeah.
Okay, I got you. Thank you. I just needed to know which one.
Our next speaker is John Nicholson, and I did have AJ Hogan sign up, but I believe he is no longer in the building.
He's outside talking to the lady.
Just let him know if he wants to talk. Okay.
John Nixon, 413 North Grandview Avenue. Items D, F, and L. D is the sheriff, working with the sheriff. About 30 years ago, we built the parking garage block from my house. All right, it's the Ocean Center parking garage. They had a sheriff's detail in the parking garage for both the garage and the Ocean Center because they are county property. We haven't had a detail in 25 years. We pay taxes. They own the buildings. They should provide security for those buildings. The parking garage has problems, and it shouldn't. All right, so I'm asking you on that regard to look into whatever agreement we have. I know it's a mutual aid agreement, but there are things that he should do for us, and that is take care of his own property, county properties. Secondly, the bridge, they're going to do touch-up on the ISB bridge. If you go over the Seabreeze Bridge, it is not attractive. They pressure cleaned it, and that was the problem to start with. When they pressure cleaned that bridge, they took the paint off. Because what happens after they do the bridge, they paint the sides. And when they pressure cleaned it, they took the paint off. So now you have this waffle effect of black and white all the way down. It's terrible. If nothing else, could we just have the sides that people are facing painted, not the entire bridge, just that 3-foot section that runs on both sides of the lanes over. There's a cement between the roadway and the sidewalk and the exterior of the bridge. So if we could do just that, the length of the bridge, people don't see the other side, they don't see the underside, they just see what's on either side. So if we could get that temporarily painted, like they're touching up the paint on the ISB, they can touch up the paint on either side. And lastly, the lift station. I asked 2 years ago, Andy, to take a look at that lift station. It's in terrible condition. The roof, shingles are gone. The windows are broken. The fascia is gone. It's just absolutely in terrible condition. The sooner we can get this fixed, the better. Thank you.
And I don't see Mr. Hogan. So I don't have any more speakers for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I just have a question about 8C. During my agenda meeting, I did ask if the property owner was able to get his items out of the building, and I was told that multiple attempts were made and it never happened. So I just want to make that public record that the gentleman was allowed to get into the building to get his items. Can somebody confirm that?
I actually can confirm that too, because I actually had a phone conversation with him because he called me, and I actually called, and the police were going to let him, permanent licensing, they were going to let him go get his belongings, but he didn't call them.
Okay, do we have someone from staff just to confirm
Yes,
it? But I do appreciate it.
staff-
Thank you.
Yeah, staff did make it available for him to get out of his information, and the chief building official was there. And as we stated earlier, if the injunction is stayed, we will not be able to do anything. We will allow for him to continue to come in there, but we are working with him. But Glenn, as the chief building official, can provide more insight.
Leonard Carr, Chief Building Official. We have been working with Mr. Phillips as far as to allow him to get his stuff over the last several months, as well as anytime the person that was also trying to claim the location as his own, which was false, and Mr. Phillips knew that. We made sure that that was cleared out. We coordinated with police, and they got him off the property, and he actually put a fence up around the property and was trying to claim it. But we had the fence removed, so he has had the opportunity to get everything out of there. I drive by there like every other day just to see if AJ Hogan is coming back there, and he is not. So there has been plenty of time to get any belongings out of his structure.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, do we have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9, which is our public hearings and quasi-judicial hearings. Let's see here. Item 9A is a Growth Management Planning Department Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 103, Mobile Food Vendors. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance amending City Code Section 103-2A, providing for additional exemptions from and modifications to the standards of Section 103-2, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I don't have any speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 9B. It's the Growth Management Planning Department, Our Lady of Lourdes Academy Gym Special Use Permit. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution authorizing a special use permit to allow for a place of worship use on 9.84 plus or minus acres of land located at 1014 North Halifax Avenue in the SFR 5 Single Family Residential 5 zoning district, subject to conditions pursuant to sections 3.4.g and 5.2.b.13.e of the Land Development Code, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
All righty now. We got a motion and a second.
I do have Steve Bushwell here on behalf of the applicant. Okay, if you have any questions.
Pete Boswell with Parker Mitchenberg and Associates.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Mr. Boswell? Okay.
And then I do have speakers, Mr. Mayor. Our first speaker is Lauren Angeletti, and on deck is John Nicholson.
Lauren Angeletti, and I live directly across the street from Lady of Lourdes. And I'm for the gym. It's great. I love the children. Amazing. The problem I have is the third Saturday of every month, we have an unhoused program run by Lady of Lourdes. And that unhoused program is due to everybody in this picture. Also, the situation that happened on Saturday. That gentleman arrived through that program. And the only reason I know that is because I live there, and for 6 months, I've been doing surveys. And, you know, just going up and down the street, I have to constantly, at all times, be a police officer at Collins.
Can you go ahead? I'm sorry. Can you go ahead and turn the mic toward? There you go.
Okay, at Collins Park, and right here is Collins Park after a feeding on a Thursday, and these men are all there. 3 of them got arrested on the afternoon at Collins Park for what they'd been doing outside of our city. And so I'm asking, before we decide, okay, we're going to have more children at this program and on this facility, we first decide, is this important? These men here stay the night there. There's electricity on the property, which they charge their phones at night, and some of them are mentally ill. It's really sad. We, the neighbors, have to deal with it. And last night they had an event at Lady of Lourdes. I think the people got out about 7:30, and I noticed a police officer is in the parking lot to help them get to their cars. But there is no police for us in the neighborhood when we have to deal with this, okay? And the children have to deal with it. And so on my Thursday off, 2 o'clock, I go to Collins Park. I take a walk around just to make sure it's safe. I will call the 911 non-emergency. This day that this was sitting there, that was a non-emergency 911. I came back by. I didn't know they were criminals. There's a paddy wagon taking 3 of them away. They left a few there, and this man stayed 5 days in Collins Park, and I didn't call on it because I wanted to see if our police department gets out of the car and walks that park. They did not. Monday, I saw he's still there, and every day, I want to tell you, this man did not only just walk to Seabreeze, but he also walked inside Lady of Lourdes, got food from somebody in there, took it back to his little cubbyhole in the park, ate it, and stayed there until Monday. Somebody actually came with the 911 non-emergency and removed him from the park where all our children play. And there's other elementary schools on that street that also walk that Halifax Road. I just think it's time for us to make a change. And if you didn't learn anything from Saturday night, I saw that man in our neighborhood. And we just had that with the guy with the red gloves. We need to make a change. It's time now. And so I feel personally, with all that I've studied, I love Lady of Lourdes. I think they're great in so many ways for our community. But their 3rd Saturday unhoused program is a disaster, and my time's up. And a lot of the people stay there for 6 months, and they're still in our city.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Vernon Weatherholtz.
John Nicholson, 413 North Granby Avenue. Time for a history lesson. Been there, done that. About 15 years ago, Daytona State College asked the church if they could have their property on White Street. The church has a care facility on White Street because Daytona State College wanted to build a dorm. So the church said, fine, we have property on A1A, we'll build on A1A. Well, during that meeting at the planning board, and then again at the city commission, people came in and said, we don't want those people in our neighborhood, meaning Catholics. Even though St. Paul's had been in that neighborhood for over 100 years, this woman had moved in 2 years earlier. She lived on San Juan and did not want the church to build there because her view was that the church would then turn the school into a homeless shelter. And again, at our planning board, guess what the neighbors said? We don't want the church to turn this gym into a homeless shelter. The church is not in the habit of turning their schools into homeless shelters. It's just anti-Catholic rhetoric. And when it pops up, I wish the city would make a comment that you cannot say anything against Black people, Catholics, Hispanics, and Muslims that are coming in, all right? Anybody that is going to denigrate any group, our city should stop it right away. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Vernon Weatherholtz, and on deck is Ted Hordecki.
Vern Weatherholtz. I live at 3 Granville Circle, Daytona Beach. I'm on the planning board. And when this was brought up before the planning board, we had a few folks talking about where the gym was, or what it's going to be. They come up with everything about they didn't want it to be a homeless shelter. They talked about the people that come in and put a lot of definite things that they didn't want. I'm just telling you a little bit about what the church does. They do. We have a community breakfast. Matter of fact, it's coming Saturday that the veterans put in. We provide everything. We cook, we clean, we have different social people to come in for eyes, ears. They can take a shower. But this doesn't have anything to do with, building the gym. The gym is just going to be a great thing for the church, for the children at the school, where they'll have a place to play, during inclement weather. They don't have anything like that. Plus, they're talking about some of the other churches here in the city area, or in this area, of possibly having basketball tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is going to be one of the greatest things that the church has ever did. We've got plenty of room. I've looked at the plans. They've got the drainage taken care of for the parking lot. We're going to have a few more parking spots, which we can always use, any church. But the biggest thing that I think with the church here and the folks that live around it, Mayor, would you like for your church to have a lot of different requirements that you can and can't do? Or you folks, when you go to church, would you like have somebody that lives around there and says, you're singing too loud? Or you're doing something for somebody that needs help. And that's what this all boils down to. I think it's a good thing for the church. I think it's a good thing for the city. And I recommend that you think that in terms of what you would do in your house. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ted Hordecki.
My name is Ted Hordecki, 113 Braddock Avenue, Daytona Beach. I also attend Lady of Lords. I'm in the Veterans Program there. And I think, there's a lady over there that lives in the neighborhood from Lady of Lords. I've been talking to a gentleman over there. They got a lot of problems with the homeless in that area. And I feel their plight. I know they're dealing. That house we just closed down in the area, the lady lives right by, and the gentleman here said he moved and he's trying to enjoy the neighborhood, but the neighborhood's being taken over. So I don't think, I could see their plight. I want the gymnasium, it's for the children. They're not gonna house people. They're not gonna do any services in the gym. It's gonna be for the kids and kids from other schools in the area. So, to the gentlemen and the ladies with all the problems over there, I recommend you get with the police department, the city manager, the mayor, the commissioners, and get their problem solved with these homeless taking over the streets. Now, I don't know the law, but I was telling the one guy, call your representative, Matt Reinhardt or whoever, but if you're that much trouble where you don't want to come out of your house and you don't feel safe there, then you got to do something. Because I don't think it's got anything to do with the gym. I think it's got to do with they got problems and they need some community policing of some sort or some kind of something, because you guys can't make laws of what you can and can't do to people who are on the street. It's just, we've been fighting that battle for a while. But I recommend they get some help from the police department. Maybe, get a cell phone number or whatever they need to do. But I don't think this gymnasium has got anything to do with their problem. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
And that was my final speaker for this item, Mr. Mayor.
All right, do we have any comments regarding this item?
Congratulations to Our Lady of Lourdes. What a wonderful thing. The educator in me is so excited to see children be able to be inside when it's raining, not be freezing and cold when it's cold outside. I know in my classroom, the PE teacher constantly comes to ask, can she just stay in my classroom with my kids because she doesn't want them outside when it's cold, when it's raining, because they're younger. And so to be able to have a school and to be able to have a gym and to be able to do so many community projects, I can imagine all the community projects that will go on. Basketball tournament, someone said some of the things that they had planned, which may not be the ultimate goal, but will help bring income to the church, and they'll be able to do even more greater things. They're already doing great things in the community. They are doing wonderful things in the community. They've been a wonderful partnership to the city of Daytona Beach, wonderful partnership to anybody in the community that's trying to make Daytona Beach better. They've been there. And so I'm happy to support this tonight. And I do see the flip side of it, and hopefully we can get with those neighbors who have some concerns and address those concerns, because we can do two things at one time. We don't have to limit ourselves to just doing one thing. It's not an either or. We can handle two things at one time. So congratulations. I'll be supporting this tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I do get a lot of complaints from over there. We do need to figure out something to address these complaints. Not saying this is related to it, but we definitely do, especially what happened over the weekend. I mean, we actually made national news. And we have a big problem, and I think we definitely need to address that, because if that was my son, and I'm sure everyone up here.
Ken, Commissioner.
There is no doubt that we have a serious homeless problem. It is growing again. I don't think that people...
I'm sorry, no talking from the audience, please.
I will continue. There is no doubt that we need to do something about the growing numbers of homeless on the street. When the homeless numbers grow, the number of people with mental illness grows. And the only way to be able to help with this thing is we're going to need more places we can take them, so that the ACLU and doesn't continue to file lawsuits against us. We're going to have to figure out a way to get more medical facilities available to them, and a way to pay for those things. And every time I mention money for helping the homeless, people say, don't want to spend any money on the homeless, but they don't want them on the streets. Well, either learn to live with them on the streets, or we're going to have to be okay with spending some more money, because our population is ballooning. And I think a lot of them are from right here in Daytona, in this area, this county, because of rents going up. We know that because we have an affordable housing problem. So maybe we could have a workshop about this sometime, or we're going to have to spend money. That's all there is to it. And I'm not a big fan of spending a lot of money. But if you want the homeless problem dealt with, we're going to have to figure out a way to spend some money, get some more facilities, get some more help for these people that need medication. That's all.
I have a question. Do you think we could have Mr. Michael Kahn, come and give us an update of what is actually happening? Because we haven't heard from him in a while.
Is he still on a retainer for us? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we
it'd
can
be nice.
do that, but he's really waiting on the
And it will be nice if you
Judge.
could come.
Yeah.
Hi. It would actually be nice if we could have him come give us update. It's been a while, and actually a public update.
I can give you an update on where we are with the case.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I want that too.
Currently waiting a decision from the 11th Circuit. We're on appeal. We've had oral argument. We had it last November. And unfortunately, there's no real time frame for when the federal court will issue its ruling. But it could come any day now, and that's kind of what we're expecting. In terms of having Mr. Khan come and provide an update, that's something we can talk about at another.
okay. And I would like to have in the public side, because a lot of our residents would like to hear what he has to say too. Because we definitely get a lot of calls.
Yeah, but that's going to cost money. Is he going to be able to tell us anything differently than what you just said?
I don't know that he would at this point. Like I said, until the 11th Circuit rules, we're still under the injunction. And so we have to abide by that until the 11th Circuit makes a decision. So
And it could be any day,
could be any day.
or it could be 2 years from now.
that would be surprising to me if it took that
Okay.
long. They typically try to decide it in a certain time frame. That could, again, typically at this point, we're about 3 or 4 months removed from oral argument. So I would expect that decision to come down soon, but
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Commissioner Paris?
I was going to bring up the incident from Saturday during public comment, but I think we could all agree that we do have an issue, and it's a layered approach. It's not just finding homes for people, because a lot of these people are not even homeless. And we keep saying homeless. We're just saying homeless people, and I know for a fact some of them aren't homeless. They just have substance abuse problems. But after what we saw with what is brought to our beach, we do have to keep the areas safer, even the neighborhoods. So I don't know if, like Commissioner Strickland said about having a workshop, if staff could bring us some options, what we could do. We do have a DART team. Maybe we could ramp that up a little bit, work with our redevelopment department to figure out some program or something that we could do. Because I don't think it's just about having a homeless shelter. Is it more outreach that we need? Is it more policing that we need? I don't know what the answer is, but since we have staff, that's what mental health services. We do have SMA. How can we work with them, partner with them? I'm sure there's grants available. Would the rest of the commission be amicable to doing a workshop on this?
No.
There's more information to be shared, of course.
So can we direct staff to get us some more information to see how we can move forward with this? Mayor?
You're asking me if I want to do a workshop?
You don't want to do a workshop.
I'm not sure I want to do a workshop, but if that's, let's get through the CRA workshop first. We got some other issues to deal with. This is a complex issue, and I don't want to sound dismissive, but it's nuanced. It's just so layered. It's just not an easy thing, and I don't know what we're going to do in a workshop. I really don't. We don't have the capacity to put in any rules. There's nothing legally that we can execute at this time, no matter. And I've had people give me 50 different rules and laws that have been put in place in other municipalities. We can't do any of that. We're in a staying pattern until the judge makes a decision. So, we can discuss it, but we need to wait until the judge makes his decision. And then maybe we'll be free to implement some things.
So if we don't have a workshop, I'd like for them to just continue to compile that information on what we could consider after the judge has made a decision. And in regards to what's being said tonight, the lady has left, but I wanted to say that there was a genuine concern that she was sharing in regards to what's happening in the area in which she lives. I told you guys last week, I have a homeless person that lives on the sidewalk around the corner from my house. And I had a conversation with her the other day. Intelligent, from Virginia. And I said, honey, we got help. You don't have to sleep out here on the sidewalk. I said, I know you've been cold, because it's been real cold. For 2 nights, she was missing, but she's right back. And if she's not on the sidewalk, she's on the church that's across the street from my house. And she has a fellow, and they've been fussing and cursing and telling. I said, you don't have to live like this. We have a shelter. We have help for you. I said, you don't sound as if you have a type of substance problem, but if you need housing, if you need assistance with your IDs or anything like that. But I said, but we can't help people that don't want to be helped. But of course, she asked me for $5. They don't want help. Everybody doesn't want help. She doesn't cause any problems, but she was fussing, saying someone shouldn't be coming to her part of town. I said, what's your part of town? The sidewalk. You know, this is a neighborhood, but I think she's staying in my neighborhood because it's so quiet. She's comfortable because it's not a noisy place. There's no drug dealings in my area, and she's just comfortable. She walks to the neighborhood 7-Eleven and leaves her sleeping bag on the sidewalk because she know nobody's going to take it. I saw her boots there the other day. I said, she left her boots and went somewhere and came back. And she sits out there in a little squatting position and writes, like she's writing something. I said, where are you from? I said, I hear an accent. I thought it was New York. She said, Virginia. She told me her first name. I told her my name. And I was just having this conversation like, can we help you? There is help here. We're trying to help. But she kept avoiding the question on did she want help. She never answered the question. She talked about other things instead. And I said, well, I can't help anybody that doesn't want to be helped.
And one of the things that the shelter had to do was because the shelter, what happens when you have a shelter like ours is that people look it up on the internet. And so we found that we started having some people coming to the shelter from out of town. So we had to put a period, I don't want to call it a gestation period, but that's essentially what it is. You have to be in Florida for a certain amount of time, specifically Volusia County, because we don't need to have a shelter that just attracts folks. Because now the shelter works. And that the proof is in the statistics of people who choose to go there. But the reality is that what you all have stated is that there are many people who do not want help and assistance. And that's the majority of those that refuse to go to the shelter. But in terms of enforcement and in terms of us being able to implement ordinances, because the reality is that our panhandling ordinance, it worked. But we live in a litigious society, and the courts have ruled that that's impermissible at the time. So I do think that as a society, we do need to make some stronger decisions. And then those who have mental health issues, you know, they can't be required to do things. You know, they have rights that they have a right to be homeless is not a crime. So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner
Yes.
Mayor, I just want to share something with you. You know, when we say that somebody has a mental health illness, I mean, there's an understanding that potentially they need medication. But the fact that they have a mental health illness, they may not remember their medication or take their medication on time. And
No.
Commissioner May, we lost you.
oh, no.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Thank you. So as I was saying, we might not see the consequence of some of what's going on until maybe next year, because right now I have businesses telling me that they're experiencing people on sidewalks or people just loitering, and their guests that are coming to town now to frequent their business are seeing it. So we might not see the economic effect of this until next year, until one complete season goes, and potentially to the negative. Because would those guests come back is the question. And then from the resident side, there's something called environmental stress. If I have to live in a community where I have low-level anxiety, then what happens is my health deteriorates. And that directly speaks to 32114 and our health index. So environmental stress, as a result of concern, worry, nervousness, or just straight physical anxiety, will also have an effect on our community. Just a thought.
Okay.
I am going to support this gymnasium tonight because I have watched Our Lady of Lords all my life, going down the street to Seabreeze, going to high school, seeing the kids play outside. But I'm going to tell y'all know Father Phil. If it's cold outside, it's raining, he might let somebody go in there and go to sleep. So we just need to be mindful of that.
So given that, how do we say, how do we say we're going to do something, but please don't do things that we believe you're going to do anyway?
Well, we don't. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to violate the rule, but is there something that doesn't permit that from being a cold weather shelter? Now, let's be real. We don't have enough cold weather shelters in Daytona Beach. And if they want to open the church up as a cold weather shelter, who's going to say no to that? I'm not. When we recently had the cold weather shelter issues, and you looked on that list, none of them are on this side of the town or the county. That's not acceptable. No. The schools open up for hurricanes. Okay, can you just stop, or we're gonna have to ask you to go out? Can you take this guy? You got to go. You either be quiet or you got to go. That's it. Okay. Do we have a motion?
We have a motion and a second.
Okay. Do we have any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 9C. It's a Growth Management Planning Department Second Amendment to the Midwest Transit, Inc. Plan Development Agreement. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 226.10 plus or minus acres of property generally located west of Tomoka Farms Road and north of West International Speedway Boulevard from PDG to PDG, approving the Second Amendment to the Midwest Transit Inc. Plan Master Development Agreement to add development criteria for townhomes, update infrastructure language for residential subdivisions, and allow residential land uses on Lot D, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the Second Amendment, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Who is the second? I'm sorry.
Commissioner Henry.
Commissioner Henry. Okay. And I do.
Commissioner May. It's Commissioner May, I thought.
I do have Rob Merrill here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
Okay.
And no other speakers.
All right. Do we have any questions? No questions? Okay.
do,
All
Mayor.
I'm sorry.
I do. Two things on this. One of the things was addressing the parking. Since they didn't bring parking up for one of the criteria, that means that they were going to meet the criteria that was met by our LDC, correct? Which is 2 spaces for each townhome?
So is you got to repeat the question. I thought we
Okay,
were
it's a
talking about
statement.
guest parking.
Well, currently, our land development code says for each townhome, you have to provide 2 parking spaces. One would be the garage, and one would be, I guess, their tandem spot, because it wasn't specified. So right now, there is no guest parking
That's correct.
scheduled for this. And would that be one of the options that the applicant would be?
So yes, as you saw, there
Able
was
to
an
do.
email exchange with all of you that we did agree that we would add guest parking, even though it's not required, 1 guest parking per 5 houses. So something you guys might want to consider in the future for other projects, but we're going to be able to do that. I did want to also mention, since I'm up here, that we did provide you guys with some updated traffic information. You asked for that, Monica.
I asked for a traffic study. You gave me
We gave you an IT-based
trips
memo.
per. Yeah, that's
Yeah, so
different.
that is what's required of us at this stage, but we updated it, so it's current. You had questioned whether
I
it
know
was
that was
current.
the trips, though. A traffic study is something different. I
Yeah.
don't want to argue with you. The thing is, when we approve these quasi-judicial hearings, we need to have current information. So what I'm basing my decision on, what is the traffic pattern today? I know that you said that there's not increased density, but there is increased impact. So we're going to have more left turns coming out So my thing was that I need personally updated information on a traffic study. So I know you sent trips and you want to keep saying that the density is not changing, but the traffic impact changed because we're going off a traffic study from 12 years ago. And I know everyone keeps telling me that we're going to do it at the site plan. If I'm approving something now, an amendment now, because that's what it is. It's an amendment that we're giving an additional entitlement. I know you're saying it was already allowed. It was allowed in a different part, and it's not like we're switching it from one part to another part. So if I'm making a decision, it has to be on current information, which I'm not getting.
Okay, so I'm happy to respond to that, and I'm happy to have legal or planning weigh in so you can hear from your people. But what we showed you was a snapshot of what happens now on this property if we wanted to, this piece of the property, this portion of it, and what we're proposing to do on that portion. And it went from, I think, 12,000 trips to 1,200 or something. So it dramatically increased it. At this level in your land development code and in your comprehensive plan, what we're required to do is exactly what we've done in terms of analysis. Now, I know that and previously, 14 years ago, Monica, for comparison, we did the same thing. We did an ITE-based zoning pre-post analysis. What's the zoning allow now? What would it allow based on what we're asking? It's exactly what we just did for you today. And so to the extent that we do a concurrency level analysis, we talked about this last time, we will be doing that. And we actually are in the process of doing that with the site plan approval. We are in the process right now of coming to terms with a methodology between the city and the county consultants to do a traffic study on this particular piece. What was done 14 years ago was for the entire project, and it was done with the same criteria as the one I just gave you today. It's an institution of traffic engineers manual-based analysis of what could be there before and what's going to be there based on this request, which represents a reduction in traffic. And I know it sounds like it's not giving you the answer that you want, but when you talk about quasi-judicial information that you need to make a decision, it's based on what I've given you. That's what's required of the code. So, and I know it's not what you want, but I'm giving you foreshadowing what's going to be happening sometime.
It's not what I want. The thing is, if I'm making a decision on something today, I would like the information to be from today, not 14 years ago.
The information from 14 years ago is the same categorical information we're giving you on this parcel today. So I'm not playing tricks with this at all. It is what the rule book tells us to do, and we're doing. What I was trying to foreshadow for you is sometime in the next handful of weeks, there are going to be people actually counting trips on the road, and you will have an analysis that says, here's the improvements that need to be made for this project to move forward, called concurrency. So that's happening as we speak. These nice folks from ResiBuild are ready to build this project. They're going through the next level of the process, which is the site plan review. And that's going to be in front of your reviewers to do their analysis. So that's happening. It's not happening right now because this is not the place for it to happen, but it is happening.
Dennis, can you explain that maybe to Commissioner Paris?
I don't need it to be explained. My thing is I already spoke to Dennis. I understand what Rob is saying.
Explain it so the public knows too. I would like to hear it.
We should be making
And she would like
decisions
to hear it.
based on
This
traffic
is-
studies for today.
This is
Not from 14 years ago.
something that happens all over.
Yeah,
That's
it does come
okay.
up very often.
It's just not us.
Yeah, Dennis Mrozek, Planning Director with the city. What Rob is talking about is the number of trips that are potential that could occur on a property based on the zoning and the uses. What we don't know at this point is what is that exact use going to be when it gets developed? How big will that use be? How many units will that the townhomes be or the multifamily? When that project comes in for a site plan, that's when we look at it, and that's when we can actually put real numbers down on paper and say, what roads are these impacting? Whatever this development is, what roads are they impacting? And that's when we do the traffic impact analysis. We know exactly the impact that project will have on that site. And so the applicant will have an opportunity to do road improvements to address what those impacts are, to mitigate for those impacts, or they have an opportunity to pay their share of what those improvements would be
and move forward. And then they collect all of that money from that share, and then they do the improvements that we see through the community, like Williamson Avenue or Williamson Boulevard. That was all done with the prop share money that was coming in with all of the new developments. So that's when we see that
And
actually
the
occur.
widening
Yes.
that I have going to be
Correct.
happening off Williamson, Bevel to Madeline.
Yeah, all the way
Well,
to-
That was
to
with fair share
Ormond.
and gas tax, but yeah, I
Right.
get it. Thank you.
Guys good?
Are we adding the parking? Is that still on table, Rob? The parking? Yes, okay.
Further comments? Any questions from Cyberland? Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
No.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 9D. It is Growth Management and Planning Department Public Use Permit to allow temporary events and related uses on city-owned property citywide. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving a public use permit to allow a range of temporary community-driven pop-up events on 18 city-owned sites to activate public assets and promote community well-being, subject to conditions and providing an effective date, and has been requested to continue this item to the March 4th, 2026 regular city commission meeting due to an advertising error.
I move that we continue this until March 24th, 26.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
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 Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 10, which is our administrative items. Which is our introduction of ordinances. So these are for city commission comments and questions only. So item 10A is a finance department ordinance authorizing a loan application and loan agreement under Florida Department of Environmental Protection Clean Water State Revolving Fund. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Daytona Beach, Florida, relating to the State Revolving Fund SRF supplemental appropriation for hurricanes Helen and Milton Loan Program, making findings, authorizing an SRF loan application for planning, design, and construction of the storm hardening and resiliency projects for the city wastewater utility system, establishing pledged revenues, designating authorized representatives, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute loan documents, subject to conditions, providing assurances, authorizing the budget officer to amend the budget, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? The public hearing and final action is set for March 4th. Moving on to item 10B is the Finance Department ordinance authorizing loan applications and loan agreements under the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Daytona Beach, Florida, relating to State Revolving Fund supplemental appropriation for Hurricanes Helen and Milton Loan Program, making findings, authorizing an SFR loan application for planning, design, construction of improvements to the city's water utility system, establishing pledged revenues, designating authorized representatives, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute any FDEP required amendments, providing assurances, authorizing the budget officer to amend the budget, providing for conflicts, severability, and an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? Okay, the public hearing and final action is set for March 4th. So now we'll move on to item number 11, which is our administrative items. Item 11A is the Public Works Department vehicle purchase fiscal year 2026, street maintenance, grounds maintenance, and facility maintenance. This is a resolution. A resolution authorizing the purchase of Public Works replacement vehicles at a total cost of $1,110,134.72, consisting of 2 dump trucks from Rush Truck Center, one 2026 Ford F-250 truck, one 2026 Chevy Silverado truck, one 2026 Ford F-750 truck, and 2 2026 Chevy Silverado trucks from Allen J. Fleet Sales, and 1 bucket truck from Altech Inc., and providing an effective date.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second.
And I have no speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor.
All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 11B, which is the Utilities Department Core and Main Census Meters Standardization. This is a resolution. A resolution approving the purchase of census meter equipment of various sizes from Core and Main LP as sole source providers at a cost not to exceed $1,450,000 for fiscal year 25-26 on an as-needed basis and providing an effective date.
So move.
Second.
All right. Do we have a motion and a second?
I have no speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, that was our last agenda item.
Okay, we will now move to commission comments and inquiries from the city commission, city manager. Commissioner Strickland.
I was hoping we would have the document so that we could put something on the ballot to change our charter about the effluent, also known as poopy water. Could you explain to us, Mr. Attorney, why how we got to this point we don't have that, and what it's going to take to get that document so that we can see about getting that on the ballot? Because my fear is Tallahassee just keeps taking away home rule and home rule and home rule every chance they get. If we don't get something in place quick, we're going to be in a situation where, boy, I wish we'd done that 6 months ago or something. So could you tell me why we couldn't even just copy what the county had the other day and change the name and the numbers on that and use that even right now? Vote for it, put it in, and make changes to it later. Is that possible? Can you explain that all to us and the citizens that are here and listening?
Sure. Commissioner Strickland and members of the commission, as well as the citizens. The city attorney's office, there was a request for us to go and prepare an ordinance, and we assigned that and worked on it diligently from the time of the request. And late into that preparation, we determined that we could not use the same ordinance that the county uses, because there's a statutory provision that has a different approach for the city, and the manner in which we're set up made for a different approach. And so once we made that determination and followed up with the draft that we had completed with the city staff, it was concluded or determined that there were things that needed to be looked at more closely before we moved forward. So we drafted it. We think we need some more information from city staff to accurately and adequately advise this commission on whether there's legal concerns related to some of the issues that city staff had raised.
Okay.
So we expect that based on the conversations along that, we would be able to bring it back to the next meeting. It would, of course, this depend on us constantly and continuing to work closely with city staff to overcome the concerns.
Do we need to make another motion to bring it back at the next city commission meeting?
No.
I don't know if there was an actual.
It was a directive.
Yeah.
Correct.
So yeah, we will proceed and operate as we have been instructed by the commission. And I respect and understand your concerns, Commissioner. I respect that, and we will work diligently to get this out because of those concerns.
Yeah, we don't have the representation that I think a lot of people voted for in Tallahassee right now, because they ran
on smaller government, and all they've done is make us smaller and take over what we should be doing here in our municipality, where we live, work, and play, as Big John used to say, and we know what our residents want. And I don't even think any of the three of them live in our town or next to our town. So let's do all we can to preempt that before they preempt us.
Understood.
Thank you.
And just for the record, so that ordinance will be bring back to bring a referendum to the voters. And so the supervisor of elections requires the verbiage and wording no later than August 18th of 2026 in order for it to be on the November ballot. So there's still a little bit of time. So even if you guys do the ordinance to...
Right. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner May? Oh, I'm sorry, do you have anything else?
No comment, everybody. Have a nice evening.
All right, likewise. Commissioner Cantu?
Yeah, mine's going to be brief. First of all, I want to say thank you to Code. They're doing a great job on the dry retention pond over by Bevel in the public shopping center. It's looking amazing. Are you part of that? I'm sure.
I share what you have passed along, but
Yes.
not directly. Thank you.
It's amazing what they're doing. I think the only thing we actually have left is the repairing of the fence off of Clyde Morris. And then I know everyone was sent an email from one of the paralegals from some questions that I asked that was answered by Robert Abraham, not who, and Ben Gross, and some of the stuff that I brought up at the last commission meeting. And since Mr. Gross is not here, and I'm sure some of you haven't had a chance to read it because we got it late, I'd like to address some of it because one of my questions is about buying the F-250s at a permit licensing revenue fee, and not saying I was attacked, but I was saying I was wrong, but actually says we cannot. So if we cannot buy that, we need to figure out if the money did come out of that, how are we going to fix that? So, but I just don't want to get into it. Mr. Gross is here, and so I don't put you on the spot. But there is some of the questions that I did ask him that I was told I was wrong, and I know you had questions as well about it, and so I just want to set the record to reflect the legal opinion from our legal. And that's about it, and good night.
All right, thank you. Good night. Go ahead, Commissioner Henry.
Two small things, and that is one, reading the email, it did say may not be taken out of excess funds, but it did not say it could not be taken out of regular funds. So I would like clarification on that, and I want that to be known that's what I saw. Also, I was told that the auditor said not to discuss certain things because he would deal with that when they sent someone from Tallahassee. So keeping in mind that hands may be tied as far as what exactly can be talked about, because the auditor said he would handle all of that when he got here. And so I think that's a great thing because it's going to give us the clarity that we all want and we all deserve. And so when the auditor looks at it, he'll be able to say to us, you were able to buy these trucks or you won't be able to buy those trucks. So I'm going to leave it alone until then. The next thing is that something wonderful happened in Zone 5 today, and that is we broke ground on the lakeside affordable housing units for our elderly. And 50 56 units are coming to the community. And I don't think people sometimes understand that when you've worked in a community, you've lived in that community, and you've given to that community, we want to make sure that our elderly people can live out the rest of their days with security. And the biggest form of security we want our elderly to have is housing security. And let me tell you why. One, when our elderly are properly housed, it's far less strain on our community resources. It's far less strain on our hospitals, on our nursing homes. It's far less strain on our psychiatrists and psychiatric work. And so also, people don't understand that elderly people make great neighbors. They're usually very quiet. And I'm saying this because the community behind them did not want this particular facility, this particular unit to come. They did not want it. And that's the one we broke ground on today, and they were here. And when I was there today, I realized what a special place it's going to be for our community, because the second thing is elderly people, they don't drive as much. They usually run their little errands and they're back home. So there's less, there'll be more people living there, but it won't significantly increase our foot and driver traffic. So it is a great opportunity. It's right next to Westside Elementary School. And if you know me, you know I'm a Zone 5 girl. I was born and raised, I went to Westside Elementary School. So I talked about that today when I had to give opening remarks for the ceremony today, that there was a time when the businesses and companies in the community took care of their workers. It wasn't considered socialism. They took care of their workers. I remember my mom working for General Electric, and if you worked for GE, and she made $7.25 an hour, because I looked under her bed one day and I saw her paycheck stub. Anyway, that was 40 years ago. And if you worked for GE, they bought all that land. You know where it is. You live in one. And they bought all that land, and they bought all those houses, and you could get a house at a very affordable rate, low percentage, and you walked into a brand new house and you had all your GE appliances. You had your GE stove, your GE refrigerator, all your GE appliances. Even today, when I visit some of the people, they still have those GE doorbells. And I said all of that to say that having a place to live and having a place to call your own is a beautiful thing, especially now when people are being priced out of their communities. They're being priced out of their homes. I see people coming back into my neighborhood that ran from the neighborhood before, because those homes now, if you want to own a home, are your more affordable options. So being able to have that new unit in Zone 5 and to be able to see that groundbreaking ceremony today was extremely special. And so we're going to welcome those elderly people. We're going to take care of them, and we're going to love on them. So those are my comments for today. And that's it. Thank you.
I have one more. Did you actually meet with the state auditors?
I didn't meet with the state auditors.
Okay.
No.
I was just curious because I said I haven't either.
I was just told when I asked some things that the auditor had said it would be people and they would deal with that. And I think I'm very happy with that. They'll be able to tell us, so we were not up here going back and forth, and the auditor will deal with all that. They'll set it all in place when he comes. So thank you.
I concur with that. In fact, I've been told that when Mayor Ritchie sat up here that audit took place with him as well. And it's just going to let us know where we stand and stop all confusion and all misconceptions. I want to challenge our citizens tonight. We need you all to get involved, to get engaged. We have citizen boards that you can get on and be a part of the decision making that we make. In fact, I want to tell you tonight in our manager's update, we're asking for you to join the Citizens Academy. The Citizens Academy is the first thing I did when I came back home just to learn how my city ran. It's 10 weeks. Every department makes a presentation every week to tell you what they do and how the city runs. It's free. It's a couple of hours Wednesday for those 10 weeks if you can get away from your job. Your job may even think that it's nice that you want to be a responsible and engaged citizen. So think about that. It starts on March 19th, so you've got time to apply. They're accepting up to 30 applications. That's actually where I first met John, y'all. He was in my class. We were in the inaugural Citizens Academy class. That John right there. Our John. but think about that. And then we have regular boards that you can get on. Several of us have vacancies on our board. So would you look out there and see where you live? Is there a board that you could be involved in? I was on the Board of Adjustment before I came here, and then I'm on this board. Do you know what month it is? It is February, and it is Black History Month. If you drive down International Speedway between Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and International Speedway Boulevard, you will see 12 citizens that MCDC is recognizing, that we partner with the city to showcase these individuals who have gone on but made significant contributions, regardless of how large or how small, to our city. And applications are being taken where citizens can make recommendations or nominations on folks that they think need to be recognized. And they go through a process, and then that decision is made. There's an unveiling. So the last time I was here, I was inviting you all to come to where the families were going to be introduced, of those that we were recognizing. And to hear those stories, the compassion of those families on the fact that we chose their loved one and that their story was going to be told was something to see indeed. I always enjoy that program. So check those out. They'll come down because the sesquicentennial banners will go back up in March. That's because the city's 150 years old. Got their words, sesquicentennial. All right? The Midtown Concert Series are about to begin. I thought we started a little early last year with January, so we're starting them with February. So they'll begin on February 28th, and the first band is the Love Band. This is free. This is at Daisy Stocking Park. Come on out, celebrate. Line dancing starts at 6:30 with Tweety. Shake what your mama gave you, and then sit down and listen to and exercise. Mary, I know you believe in that. And just listen to one of our local bands as they present. All the bands have been identified and listed, so you can see that as well. And then just to give you a little taste of what's to come in April, of course, the Crab and Seafood Festival is on the way, April 25th. Get ready, get ready, get ready. I just want to also conclude by thanking the clerk for being my guest at the Neighborhood Watch for Zone 6 last week. She shared with the citizens there what her responsibilities are, what she can do for them, and how her office is ran. And I want to thank you, Madam Clerk, for joining us.
That's great.
That concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Nothing this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
Could I add something?
Absolutely.
I sure would like to see our citizens come together and maybe we could get back to doing our business in this room right here, because we have so much stuff out there, so many allegations and demands to do this and do that and remove this person and so should resign, and it's all just allegations. Could we just get everybody back together, do business in this room right here, and move forward with the city's business until which time the state is through going through our records and auditing us, and then we can move on and continue to be a unified city instead of divided, pointing fingers over allegations, unsubstantiated allegations. It drives me crazy. I have people demanding that I do stuff. I don't do stuff with allegations. You know, prove it to me and I'll make a decision. You might not like that either, but at least it needs to be facts, not just finger pointing and allegations. And that's just my request. Probably gained speed when it went out some ears, but whatever.
Ken, you're first of all, this week we had, the last several weeks we've had the Mayor's Fitness Challenge, and the cold weather really had an impact on us because we were outside in the middle of the coldest season. Last week, Stephanie did strength training. We were back inside. And then this week, we were at the Esplanade for yoga. So we continue to grind. I'm not doing quite as well nutritionally as I would like. But, you know, we still have a few weeks for me to try and do a little bit better. Tonight, I did want to take a moment to address a lot of what has transpired in our community as a result of my wife's recent traffic stop. The one thing that I try to avoid is this type of situation, but some things in life cannot be avoided because things happen. And this was one, and one in which when I made commentary about it, the commentary was simple and it was straightforward. And I said from the rip that I spoke as a husband. And I stand by that. For the last 14 years, she has done me the privilege of being my wife. And it is my sincere prayer and hope that for the duration of my life, that will be the case. I have no intentions of ever leaving this relationship. Now, that being said, this post, as mayor, I won't be here forever. In fact, we don't know how long that'll be and ever how long it will be. I will accept that and move on. I do accept both responsibilities as sacred obligations. One is a public trust, that of mayor being public, and that belongs to the public, and one is a sacred, holy trust that is a covenant that I signed with her and my Creator. And so that is one that, while I don't think that they are in any way, shape, or form at odds, I believe both can be done. And I did my very best to express that in a way that I thought people might understand. But obviously, when you say something, people will have their opinions and their thoughts about what you said. And so our chief responded to that rather in a way that it was direct, but it wasn't direct because it didn't mention me by name, but we all knew who he was talking about. And his big brother, the sheriff, former police chief, opined on that as well. Both men are men that I have had a long-standing relationship with, and both have had my support. So I'm going to try my best to stick to the script that I have written so as not to say anything that I didn't intend to say tonight, because I do have that tendency to be somewhat verbose and go off script. And so tonight, I guess I have to speak both as husband and mayor. It was my preference just to be mayor on this issue. I mean, just to be husband. But because it has taken on such a wide-ranging impact on our community, I feel the need to do both. As mayor of Daytona Beach, I want to take a moment to address recent discussions in our community regarding my continued support for our dedicated police department and comments I made following my wife's recent traffic stop. Let me be clear. No one has been more supportive of law enforcement in this city than I have. I have consistently stood behind the men and women who serve Daytona Beach, and that support has not changed, and it will never change. I have routinely and publicly pushed to ensure our police officers are among the best compensated in Volusia County, second only to the sheriff's office, because I believe that if we expect excellence, professionalism, and accountability, we must be willing to invest in it. My record reflects that. Competitive salaries, I champion salary increases to make our department, as I said, one of the highest paid agencies in the county. Enhanced special detail pay. I supported increased compensation for officers who take on specialized assignments, requiring additional skill and responsibility. Investment in equipment. I back the purchase of new vehicles and updated equipment to ensure our officers have the tools they need to perform their duties safely and efficiently. Improved retirement benefits. I advocated for enhancements to pension benefits, honoring the long-term service and sacrifice of our officers. Extended drop program. I supported extending the deferred retirement option program to retain experienced officers while providing flexible retirement options. Additionally, when the chief's position was under consideration just a few years ago, and it appeared to many of us in the community, including those of us on the dais, that the previous city manager was less inclined to appoint from within, I publicly and aggressively advocated from this seat for Chief Young to receive the same strong consideration that current Fire Chief Driscoll had received only a few years earlier in the same situation. I believe then, and I still believe now, that leadership, continuity, and institutional knowledge matter. There is no conflict between me and our police chief, nor is there a conflict between me and our sheriff. I value their leadership, but I do not have to agree with every perspective in every situation, and differing viewpoints do not mean opposition to the work at hand. Complex issues can reasonably be viewed from more than one angle. My wife and I have chosen to raise our family in Daytona Beach. I worked very hard to convince her to move from sunny South Florida to a better space in Daytona Beach. I have spent my entire life living and working in this community, and we have proudly shared our family's time and presence throughout this community. There has been no area of Daytona Beach that I have made off limits to them. I have encouraged them to partake in every nook and cranny of this community. The recent traffic stop involving my wife was a legal traffic stop, never in question. The concern that I had was not about legality, it was more about duration and whether the encounter could have been handled more efficiently. Once it became clear there was no impairment, no escalating issue, the stop lasted well over 30 minutes. As a husband, on the phone before the stop and subsequently during the stop, it felt like an eternity. There was no loud music, there was no odor of marijuana, no speeding. My wife was compliant and courteous throughout. Those factors, they matter. Once it was clear there was no impairment, I believed and expected that she would be able to move on in a timely manner. That didn't happen. Because the stop extended that long, my primary concern later that night as I lay in bed became my thoughts of my daughter, 10 years old. My wife had just moments before dropped our beloved Paisley off at dance practice. As a father, I could not help but think about how she would have reacted if she had seen her mother on the side of the road performing a field sobriety test. That thought left me reflecting on how much time we spend in that neighborhood, and it is extensive. And that is precisely the mindset that we do not want to create, one of hesitation or apprehension about spending time in parts of our own city. It is a mindset that I have consciously rejected throughout my life. Many of those most enraged about my reaction do not live in that neighborhood, do not invest in that neighborhood, do not visit that neighborhood. My family, we do. We spend a significant amount of time there, and we support its businesses, its institutions. We attend church there. We work there. We go to dance class there. We go to basketball practice there. We eat in the restaurants there. In fact, my wife was on her way to Bethune Grill to pick up wings for a $600 or thereabout order. When stops are prolonged, plans change, money gets redirected. If individuals believe they may be detained for extended periods of time, in certain areas, they are less likely to frequent those neighborhoods. That has real economic consequences for the families and small businesses who rely on that activity. There is a real economic component to how public safety is experienced. I was proud of the officers' professionalism. I tried to state that I thought that they were more than courteous during the stop. And I was proud of Stephanie's calm and cooperation. Her experience does not assign bad intent to the officers involved, and neither have I intended to do that. They were performing their duties as they understood them and according to their training. But lived experience still matters. Residents measure public safety not only by outcomes, but by how they are treated along the way. Listening to those experiences is not an attack on policing. It is part of improving trust in policing. We must be mature enough as a community to hold two truths at once. We can strongly support our law enforcement professionals, and the fact that I believe is irrefutable, while also acknowledging the real experiences of residents. Constructive dialogue is not opposition. Inquiry is not hostility. Transparency is not weakness. Public service requires the willingness to have difficult conversations. And if you know me, you know I have never been afraid to do that. And I will not start now. Criticism from social media does not overwhelm me. The voices that matter most are the residents, families, and business owners who live and work in our neighborhoods every day. What I shared was not political. It was not an attack on law enforcement. It was personal, from the perspective of a husband, a father, and today as a mayor who cares about every part of this community. We are not on opposing sides. We all want the same goal: a stronger, safer, more unified Daytona Beach. I appreciate the sheriff, appreciate that he acknowledged my longstanding support for law enforcement and accurately referenced my comments as those of a husband responding to a personal situation. My commitment to our police department remains unwavering. My commitment to listening to our residents remains unwavering. Those two commitments are not in conflict. They are complementary. Together, through mutual respect and honest dialogue, I know that we can continue building a Daytona Beach that is safe, trusted, economically vibrant, and united. And I will continue working for the rest of my life towards that goal, not only as mayor, as a husband, as a father, and as one who intends to retire in this community. That is my final commentary on this matter, and I expect this community to move forward with the same unity that we had prior to this incident. Mr. Manager, do you have any comments? Mr. Attorney, do you have any comments? Hearing none, we will now hear from the greatest residents in the city, in the country, the residents of Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay. Our first speaker tonight is Rich Yost, and on deck is Jason Voles.
Good evening. I'm going to try to keep this brief because it's getting late, but I'm here tonight representing Let Volusia Vote. We've been the group that's kind of spearheading the banning of potable reuse. First, I want to say thank you to this commission for having the courage of leadership to even consider it, to draft it, and to hopefully at the next meeting vote on it unanimously, hopefully. This commission has an opportunity to show real leadership, courageous leadership, not just here in the city, but in the county and in the state, to show that you guys actually listen to the voice of the people and you act accordingly. No one here wants this to even be an option. I know the city explored it previously. You know, the county just voted on this last night. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way that we wanted it to, but all the same, you know, their excuse was it hasn't been planned, it's not in the future, it's not coming. Daytona has explored this, so I hope that this commission will continue to show the leadership that it has in the past and adopt the resolution as written next meeting unanimously. So again, I want to say thank you to everyone here that supports this. And I really look forward to seeing that this passes unanimously at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jason Voles, and on deck is John Nicholson.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Jason Voles. Normally, I'd be addressing you as a political candidate, but tonight I come to you as a neighboring resident of Daytona. I am a supporter of Let Volusia Vote, a grassroots political action committee that empowers the voters on local issues. Now, you guys have already spoke about toll at the tap. When I first got here, this is in the lobby. And you guys addressed a lot of stuff. I think you're on the right page with what you're doing. I want to begin by saying I'm genuinely surprised that the ordinance was removed off the agenda tonight, especially what happened last night at the county council meeting, where the county failed its voters by refusing allowing the voters to simply choose. People across the county are asking for a voice, and at every level, they're getting told no. That's why I'm here tonight, to ask you, the commission, to lead the way. City Attorney, there's going to be other cities that follow this. You're going to lay the groundwork if you guys pass this. You have the authority, and now you have the template from the county attorney to place a charter amendment before the voters with a simple question. Should the residents of Daytona Beach have the right to vote on banning toilet to tap, toilet to aquifer as a practice? This isn't partisan. This isn't anti-development. This is a safety concern. In the city of Daytona, where I live, they are actively planning to inject reclaimed water into our aquifer. That's sparked a countywide movement because people are deeply concerned about the long-term safety of drinking water. This movement started in Daytona, but it has grown because residents everywhere understand that once reclaimed water hits our aquifer, it doesn't stop at city boundaries. Water moves, risks move, consequences move, and so should leadership. Daytona has the opportunity to do what the county didn't. Trust your residents, respect the voice, let them decide the level of risk they're willing to take. I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm not here to accuse anybody of anything. I'm here as a neighbor. Can I keep going or no? I'm almost done. No?
You got 2 sentences. You said you're almost done. No, you can't make it, can you?
Do me a favor, try to get on the next agenda.
All right.
Thank
We
you,
will.
guys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, our next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Brenda Fowler.
John Nicholson, 413 North Granville Avenue. For the last several years, I've been going to the county council, CVB, the chamber, mayor's roundtable, saying that Daytona Beach is the economic engine for the county. Daytona Beach side is the economic engine of Daytona Beach. All right? The beach is our biggest natural draw. And if you listen to her presentation, 95, 98% of the people go to the beach. So why do we ignore the beach side? We understood why Chisholm did. 17 years he ignored the beach side. Mr. Fietro's been here almost, 4 or 5 years? 3 years ago, the mayor said, we need to concentrate on the beach side. Nothing's been done in the 3 or 4 years. The ISB and A1A is done. They don't look like what should have been over there. And you know how I feel about A1A and all those signs. Yeah, they may protect people, but they can kill people because there's too many signs. People don't pay attention to the signs when there are thousands of signs. So I'm asking you to pay attention. You've got the facts from Jessica. It matters that that beach side is successful, because when it's successful, all of Daytona Beach and all of the county benefits by the success of the beach side. Lastly, with regard to the incident, Mayor, I would not think very highly of you if you did not back your wife. It is a natural, normal thing to do. I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. However, that phrase that you put in there that said Daytona Beach discriminates against blacks and Hispanics was terrible. We have shot ourselves in the foot so often. This is just another thing that gives us a black eye. Now, my recollection of what you said when we were looking at a new police chief was not that you were looking at homegrown. You said, I will only accept a black man. That has nothing to do with what Jakari Young was. Jakari, I went with the idea of looking at his past. I pulled his jacket. I talked to the police officers.
Your time's
I talked
up,
to his
John.
chief.
Or almost.
I have 22 seconds,
That's
Mayor.
what the beeper is?
Yes.
Give me his whole time.
There's a
right.
beep for.
I'm sorry.
So
Can't take it.
I checked on him. He was ideal for the man, not because he was black, but because he was the highest and best man to do that. And what you said hurt him. Thank you.
I must address 2 of those things before Ms. Fowler comes up. First, I never said that many of you were on this commission. I never said that I would only accept a black man. That is a lie from Haiti's. I also did not say what you said about blacks and Hispanics in my statement. Never said that. Read the statement. It didn't say that. So you're going by myths or something that someone told you, because you apparently are not on social media. Well, I didn't mention those words, black or Hispanic. Oh, I did mention black. But anyway, it wasn't what you said. So if you're going to quote me, just quote me accurately. But I understand your sentiment and the tone of part of what you said, okay? And I do acknowledge that I may have said things slightly differently, but overall, I stand where I stood. So I'm not changing, but I understand how it made people feel. Next.
Okay. Our next speaker is Brenda Fowler, and on deck is Jean Miley.
Good evening, everybody. I came here to address the incident from
this weekend, and with much respect for the love of your wife. I did have a social media post about it, and what I did about it was I wanted to discuss context. The context of the fact that it was a field training officer with a rookie. That's why there was 3 officers there. A sheriff was eating dinner. He stopped by. It wasn't to gang up on anybody or make it look, the optics look bad.
That's true.
I believe in accountability, sir. And you did make a comment about bias policing. On
Did you say bias?
yeah, you said, because then that made me go look up something. In traffic stops for 2024, there was a total of 73. If we're going to do black and brown, now, not black and white, 9 were Asian, 20 were black, 17 were Hispanic, and 20 were white. So if we just did black and white, it's 20 to 20. I think it was a slap in the face to the chief with his work on what he's trying to do with the non-biased policing and the work that the officers do. I'm here as a wife of a retired police officer. I will do everything to support our city and their officers. There was a few things that I think optically were not very well or audibly were very well. You were heard on the phone stating to them or that you were going to call the chief. Surrey called Takara Young. To what point? I don't get to call Jakari if I get pulled over. That's an abuse of your position, sir. And then also, sorry, that just threw me off back there. The Office of Professional Standards. I believe in this city. I believe in this department. I could care if there were 10 black, brown, purple, or whatever commissioners. I want the best for this city. And I want us to work together, face all the problems that we do have, then heal from that. But one of the other statements or things that happened is Commissioner Henry shows up on the scene in the middle of the street yelling, "This is bullshit." That is not what a public official, an elected official should be doing. Yes, I understand that that's her sister-in-law. And I understand that it's very upsetting for your wife. I would be as well. I defended your wife on social media with accusations of her being under the influence and everything, and I said that that's not fair for people to make that judgment.
Thank you, ma'am.
I appreciate your commentary. I do, sincerely.
Thank you.
Well received.
Our next speaker is Jean Miley, and on deck is Sonia Saylor. Jean Miley?
And Ms.
Sonia
Fowler,
Saylor?
for the record, her sister is a 23-year law enforcement officer. Just for the record, her sister.
Hello. Hello. Okay, thank you.
That's from business owners and residents. I'm here again because we just had that little boy that got his throat slit. If that was one of Jens's kids, you would be sitting there saying, we got to do something.
Well,
I don't want to hear about the homeless, that we need to give them more money. That shelter's been not full since 2020. These people don't want to go to shelter. You have one by your house right now. Wait till you have 25 like we do. We have people going around with sledgehammers, with pipes. They're all over the streets. I think your concern should be about the residents and not the crazies that are running through Daytona. You have already on state law loitering. Put loitering signs at all the problem areas, right on the sidewalks. If they loiter, go arrest them. We're not asking you to use the homeless thing. We're asking you to use the state laws that you already have. Everybody else is using it. Ormond Beach, Palm Beach, everybody. Use your sidewalk ordinance. You pick them up, they go to jail for 60 days. They get fined for $500. We won't have this issue on Beachside. They're all over the place. They're on the beach. Nobody wants to come on beachside. And it's your job to fix the problem because it was left go for so long. I'm so tired of hearing residents, oh man, you know, I gotta sell my house, I gotta move. They're about ready now to organize and get Attorney General involved and sue you guys. We have people sleeping on the streets still. It's a state law. It's a state law. Pick them up. I mean, your police drive by them all the time. They see them. They know who they are. They got trash everywhere. And if I was those kids' parents, I would sue you for neglect because you haven't took care of the problem yet. You did a great job on that house and on the other house. The police did a great job. But now we need you to go farther. And like I said, I wouldn't worry about giving more money to, give it to the police so they can do more of their jobs. And that's pretty much all I have to really say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is William Biddorf, and on deck is Tom Russell.
My name is William Biddorf. I live at 402 East International Speedway Boulevard in Daytona. Tonight, as I said, I was going to go back in and one, Mr. Mayor, I love you. I appreciate your dedication to the community, and you've been one of my inspirations to even be on a board. I'm on the redevelopment board because of you and Ken. So anyway, when tensions rise, it's easy to point fingers and actually raise voices, as you correctly, I was talking about this earlier, to assign blame, but real leadership, which you have, is you're lowering the temperature, lifting up principle, and returning to our foundation. That foundation is the Constitution, which I'll go into later on. It's not about race, it's not about politics, it's about the Constitution. The Constitution protects every citizen equally. It defines limits of government power, establishes due process, and ensures equal protection under the law. Our police do a tough job. They walk into danger. Many split-second decisions serve under pressure that deserves respect, which you do to give that respect. You do. Constitutional accountability is not an anti-police, but a pro-justice and pro-integrity. It's a pro-unity. Unity comes from shared principles, due process, equal protection, lawful authority, and constitutional limits. Every public official swears to defend the Constitution and protect the rights of the citizens. Let's choose unity over division, principle over passion, and Constitution over conflict. When we stand together on that foundation, Daytona Beach becomes stronger. Let's unite under the Constitution. So, I don't know if a lot of people know you've been an educator and you've taught me a lot throughout the years. So I have something I sent to the commissioners, and it has to do with the Constitutional Sheriff's Association, which actually I brought. I too got arrested at my charity. Simple thing, I disagree with it. They raided my charity for doing instant bingo. It was later now pros because whatever reason, my attorney's taking care of that. I didn't complain. I love this city. I would like us to actually come to the constitutional meetings or get some of your commissioners to come, especially yourself, because I really admire your opinion. And here it is right here. I sent the email, but his name is Bill Mitchell, and they're held at 400 East International Speedway Boulevard at my charity.
Okay.
And you're my welcome guest because I love your whole family.
Okay.
And everybody up here, I love and respect each one of you. Thank you. Could you give this to them?
Yeah, go ahead and give it.
Could you? This is for you, Mr. Mayor. I sent it to email to everyone, but.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Tom Russell, and on deck is Anna Alexander.
All right. Tom Russell, 603 North Beach Street, the real North Beach Street. Mayor Henry, you've got my condolences of all the grief. I've been there. Only it was reversed. My wife was embarrassed because of something I did, so I had to pay a big penalty. In any event, I don't want to beat everybody's head. Blue Road CRA. The money has been diverted to various and sundry projects. My question is, who can I speak to that can tell me what the plan is for the Blue Road CRA? And where did the money go? And is there a plan for putting it back? We could do flood protection on buildings. All right, I'm still working on my tenting of my building. That's going on mostly because of me, because I couldn't get a quote properly. But, you know, this is money that was designated by your predecessors. And now you guys just move it around. Mr. Mayor, you said it was legal. All right. Legal doesn't make it right.
That's true.
So we've got a section of town a little bit below Ridgewood Avenue, which is a dilapidated, poor section of town. Nothing will ever happen. That CRA would have been good seed money, and it would have worked itself right up the street, right up to Ridgewood. But it sits there. The zoning is all screwed up. I mean, it's a catch-22. Who can I speak to that can help me figure out how I can help get it corrected? I don't want to be here beating everybody's head and bitching about the same thing all the time. I'd like to see something positive done. I mean, yes, there's a lot of problems, but this particular situation, it had its own money. And you took the money, and you're still taking the money. I mean, it is asinine that a designated section of town could have been developed in some way, could have been protected. So who can I speak to? I need the name of someone that can tell me, okay, here's what the zoning is in this area. Here's what the minimum requirements are. This, that, the other thing. It's all commercial, but the zoning lots aren't all commercial. I've got lots behind my building that aren't the same as the ones that I've got in the front. Who's going to be able to answer that for me? I only got 14 seconds.
Who can answer that for me?
Same people he meets with every 2 or 3 weeks. But he has met.
I know you guys are busy. You got you're getting your heads chopped off. So
he has met with redevelopment staff on numerous occasions, as well as financial staff. The difference is he does not agree with what is being stated. I mean, I don't know what else he wants.
No. You've got a lot of good people. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know, but you have met with him. If you want to meet again, I'll be more than happy to meet.
A person.
I'll be more than happy to meet with you again.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
And I'll explain what I would like to know.
And we'll have contact with Ned, and we will sit down and go through every one of your questions.
And make a plan.
Yes. Well, the commissioners they had they did the Blue Road, they did have priorities that they agreed to and approved at the last workshop. I'll provide you with those priorities that the commissioners actually approved for Blue Road as well.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Anna Alexander, and on deck it's Tamika, and I can't make out the last name. What is it? Cremiel.
Hello, Mayor and City Commissioners. Thank you for all you do for our city. My name is Anna Alexander. I'm here on behalf of the Queens of the Community Fashion Brunch that was hosted last year at the Cherry Center here in Midtown. It involved models from the Senior Oasis groups. We had a very good turnout. So I'm here again to see how you all could help me. I brought pictures from the event. How do I pass them out?
If you'll give them over to the thing, we'll take them. Thank you. Thank you.
I have contributed, like always. I'm also reaching out to other companies, businesses within the area to give back. It's an opportunity for us to show our appreciation for our seniors who have led the way in so many different ways, as far as contribution, as far as, just providing their dedication to our community. So that's the basis of the Queens of the Community. It's a very engaging event. The mayor's mom was in the event, which we truly appreciate. But yeah, we're just here to see if you guys could assist us again.
I will. Okay, I will certainly be in touch. I thought it was a great event, and I heard great things about it. I'm excited for you to be able to do it again.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I'll be in touch.
Can we have a list of what your needs are?
Yes, I can print out a letter and send it to you all.
Okay.
Will I send it to Letitia again? Yes.
Yes,
Okay, I will.
perfect. Yep,
Thank
okay,
you.
thank you.
Cremiel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika Cremiel. I'm here on behalf of Majesty Chapter 565, International Free and Accepted Martyr Masons and Order of Eastern Star. I'm here today for help with it's our 23rd Easter egg hunt in the Derbyshire area. We have a huge turnout. We have a lot of people that come out, bring their kids. We need help. And we're just coming here to ask our city, our mayor, commissioners, for the continuation of helping us with this event that we have for the Daytona Beach area.
Okay. I always support this and have supported it since I was commissioner of Zone 5, and will certainly be supporting it again.
Thank
So I'll
you.
let you know what I can do.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I would like to say you guys didn't go in order because I was the first person here, ended up being the last person to speak. And I miss Ash Wednesday, but thank you and keep up the good work.
You turn in your sheet first?
Yes. And the lady ahead of me was one of the last ones, but I was first here. I was here at 5:15, put in my paperwork, and still was the last one. But I'm thankful, but I just want to let you know you didn't go in order.
And
Yes.
I'm glad you do what you do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tamika? Tamika? Do you want me to do the same thing that I've done for the past 8 years?
Yes, and one difference, I would like everybody to contribute this time, not the same people that always. Let's make a change. You said we're going to try to make a change. Let's make a change. And let's get everybody involved, because I'm not just asking people in Derbyshire just to come. I'm asking Ormond, Daytona, Holly Hill, the whole area, Beachside, whoever can get there. It's a family event for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't care about Ormond and Holly Hill.
Let's see, our next speaker is Allison DeLauder. And on deck is Tom Caffrey.
Hello, everyone. I am Allison DeLauder. My storefront is 639 North Ridgewood in Daytona Beach, Florida, at 32114. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I stand before you today as a resident, as a business owner, and as a human being. Still living with trauma of what happened to me on that day of 6/06/2024. I was surrounded by more than 6 officers. Guns were pointed at my head. I was forced to my knees in what felt like an execution-style position. In that moment, I did not know if I was going home dead or alive. When you are on your knees with weapons drawn at your head, titles do not matter, status does not matter. Influence does not matter, all you feel is fear. That kind of fear that does not disappear when the scene ends. It follows you home, it follows you into your sleep, and it replays into your mind. It changes you. I came to you personally. I told you what that moment did to me. I told you how it deeply affected my mental. I told you I almost took my own life while trying to process how I went from being an innocent citizen to feeling like I was about to be executed at my own store. And there was silence. No public acknowledgement, no call for transparency, no demand for answers. Yet, when your own household experienced traffic stops involving 3 officers, you spoke publicly about overreach and access. Accountability must apply across the board, including to those who hold power. And I have something else to say. You see my posts, you watch my page, you engage when it is convenient, but when I ask about the suspect vehicle, when I ask for answers of why I was treated the way I was, when I ask for clarity about what justifies 6 officers pointing guns to my head, there is silence. If you are watching, then watch this. Let the next post of mine that you like be one where you are holding yourself and others with position of power accountable, not selectively, not politically, not personally, but consistently. because I asked you sincerely, when you were on the phone with your wife during that stop, did you feel helpless? Did you wonder if that might be the last time you heard her voice? Because that is what I felt. Imagine being completely innocent and still being the target. Imagine kneeling, surrounded, not knowing whether you'll make it home. Imagine feeling powerless, even in a city where you pay taxes, run a business, and follow the law. That is what I live. This is not about race. It is about humanity. It is about dignity. It is about whether leadership shows up for every resident, not just when it hit close to home. When excessive force is wrong, it is wrong for everyone. When intimidation is wrong, it is wrong for everyone. When trauma happens, it matters, no matter who door it reaches. Our community deserves leadership that defends all of its residents equally. We deserve answers, we deserve transparency, and we deserve to be treated like human beings first, not criminals first. If we are going to talk about accountability, let it be real, let it be equal, and let it apply to everyone, including those who hold power. Because in the end, we are all equal, no matter the race, no matter the status, and no matter our connections. And equal leadership means standing up for everyone, not just when it is personal, not just when it is political, but every single time. So don't say you care for your own kind when many are here today because of the situations you have overlooked. Thank you.
Okay.
I want to be sure to say this before we depart. I appreciate that you came and spoke your mind, and I also you had your turn, but I also want to make sure that the record reflects that I personally met with you more than once. I personally met with you, personally met with the chief regarding your situation. And from my understanding, the chief personally met with you. That's what I can do. And I did advocate for you to learn about your situation. And I learned about each and every one of the stops and received the detailed descriptions of what happened in the stops involving you. So that's what I received. And I'm telling you what I did. So we'll move on.
Okay. Our next speaker is Tom Caffrey, and on deck is Eddie Lake.
Mm-hmm. Getting old. Tom Caffrey, 816 Main Street, world's most famous brewery, part of the world's most famous beach. Let's go. So, few things. I don't know what I'm really going to talk about tonight, but one of the things that I think is most important right now, I've been focused on as a person and an individual is the Pinewood Cemetery. We just had a major cleanup of Pinewood Cemetery in January. We had over 200, maybe 250 residents show up to the Pinewood Cemetery and clean that thing up. We probably saved somewhere between $100,000 and $140,000 of actual money, actual funds to do that. It was all pro bono. We had 3 commercial people show up with their businesses. We had Terry Smith. We had Cardinal Contractor Services, and we had, gosh, I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Give me a second, I'll figure it out. But we had multiple contractors show up. We had big, heavy equipment in there. We uncovered 3 new stones. When I say new, they would have been covered by debris for 8 years, 10 years, 50 years, whatever it is. So you got to realize that cemetery is 152 years old. Daytona's talking about celebrating its 150. That's 2 years older than Daytona. It's important. Most of the founders of Daytona are in there. There's a lot of people that are important in there. And so the organization, which I'm now secretary treasurer of, we founded this new thing and are doing this new thing. We're going to do another cleanup April 12th, and we are going to work on our fencing, and we are going to work on our painting. And so that's something that's really important. Another thing that's really important is this toilet to tap thing that's going on right now. I highly recommend moving forward this. It's gonna end up grenading. They're doing it in Cocoa. They're doing it in Miami. They're already doing it other places. Florida, if you're not really familiar, has an aquifer that's all level. Everybody shares everybody's water. And so whether you inject it below it, it eventually seeps up through it. So you really need to think about that going forward. It's super, super, super important to do it. Whether you do or don't, that's up to you guys. But the county made a terrible mistake. And the last thing I'm going to say is that presentation by Jessica earlier was phenomenal. I watched it from my phone. I was at home putting my kids to bed. I left the house to come here. I rushed here to be here because I think this is important. But I'm telling you, beach driving is so important to this community, and we need to add more of it. And you guys need to come to the county and say, bring back beach driving, because it's proven to bring economy here, and it'll be even better. If you look at all of the areas that are around here, everything that's improving in Daytona Beach is actually building there on beach driving. We've only had one new development
Thank you,
in
sir. Your time has expired.
25 years. One new development, and that's Proto Group. How's that going?
Our final speaker tonight is Eddie Lake.
Good evening, Eddie Lake. Glad to be here tonight. Ken Strickland asked me if I was asleep. I promise you I wasn't. But let me say to you, Mayor, thank you. And we appreciate you and Dr. Henry for your model of ebony excellence and how you carry yourself. And I too stand with you as a husband for 26 years. I would have done the same exact thing. So we honor you for that because you're showing us that you're real and you're touchable, and we appreciate that. And to you, Ken, unity is so important because according to Psalm 133, that's the place where God commanded the blessing. And so if we want to continue to do the work that we do here at the city of Daytona Beach, we have to be unified. And I think it's imperative that we make sure that we work together. I'm excited about the privilege and opportunity, Commissioner Reed, to be a part of the class next month. So thank you. The Citizens Academy.
Citizens Academy.
Oh, you will?
Yes, I will be. Thank you to me.
It is.
And here is, I've been here for almost 2 years now and sit on the Midtown Redevelopment Board and now the chair. What I'm excited about is that the CRA doing new things that we haven't done for decades. And as I learn the city, and as I'm growing to learn the city, and as I hear the heart of the people, I just want to see so much more. And I want you all to know that I support you, and I want us to be unified, and I'm willing to work together with you, and I want to see you succeed as well, Mr. Fiacha, and I want to see this commission excel and do what it needs to do for the city of Daytona Beach. I'm simply glad to be a part, and my heart is this. This has been a long day today. 2 services of Ash Wednesday, and I'm tired. But where my heart is right now, and as Ms. Delauder spoke, I want to be included in how we solve that issue. And so please reach out to me, let me know how we can do this together. We support the commission, we support law enforcement, and we want the best for this city. And I'm glad to be called a resident of Daytona Beach. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I pray for you, I pray for this city, and I believe that the best is still yet to come.
I do too. Amen. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Good night, Daytona Beach.
Good night.